One does not immediately think of the Greenskins as a race of craftsmen. Indeed, few of their lot can make anything besides dung-filled idols and rickety camp cities. Even the industrious black orcs will often steal and reshape the exquisite work of the Dawi to fit their wicked ends, rather than create something from scratch. Oftentimes, an orc armorsmith will do little more than crudely pound a piece of metal until an orc or goblin can squirm their way into it. This does not make the weapons and armor twisted by greenskin hands useless, however. Many of the defiled artifacts of the dwarfs go on to become functional, if unremarkable, weapons, and some magical items become even more powerful after receiving the attention of a greenskin shaman. One such improved artifact is Skarsnik's Prodder, personal weapon of the Eight Peaks' most infamous warlord. Skarsnik's Prodder began its existence as a rune staff of the rune priest Braknar, son of Brangar, servant of Lord Belagar Ironhammer. It shone with a pale light and was capable of reinvigorating allies or blasting enemies to pieces. Skarsnik first encountered the staff that would be his Prodder early in his life, back when he was still known as Runtget. The Night Goblin was about to be executed by his peers for consorting with the treacherous Skaven, when Braknar and a group of dwarfs inadvertently saved him by bursting through a wall to ambush the Greenskins. The Rune Priest and his fellows had joined Lord Belagar on one of his early expeditions to the Eight Peaks to reclaim lost relics, and their search had brought them into conflict with Skarsnik's tribe. The dwarfs' arrival created enough confusion that the goblin who had become Skarsnik managed to escape in the chaos. He never forgot the pale light emanating from Braknar's runestaff as he fled the scene, nor the terrible power it unleashed into the Greenskins, who moments ago would have cooked him alive. Years later, after Skarsnik had taken his proper name and Belagar's kin, including Braknar, had moved into the Eight Peaks, Skarsnik sought to take that power. He set a trap for the Rune Priest, torturing captives outside dwarfish walls to lure the Dawi into his territory. The dwarfs took the bait, charging out to avenge their kin, and Braknar was among them. While the Rune Priest managed to escape the ambush with his life, his staff was stolen from him. Braknar could not stand the loss of such a precious artifact to his people, so, after some time, he set out to reclaim it from the goblin warboss. Skarsnik's forces easily captured the dwarf, binding him to a ruined temple of Valea to observe the befouling of his runic staff. This was a critical component of the ritual to properly turn an honest dwarfen talisman into evil greenskin magic. By having the Rune Priest there, Skarsnik and the shaman Deathskull could show Gork and Mork that Skarsnik was bigger and badder than the dwarfs and their ancestors. This, in turn, would empower the staff with their blessing, letting it harness the energy of the Wa. Smiths and shamans toiled over fires turned green by goblin magic, bending the elegant steel of the staff into its cruel new form. Skarsnik had an extensive vision quest while his weapon was being prepared, speaking with the twin orc gods themselves. This divine contact was the final jolt of energy needed to complete the ritual and fully energize Skarsnik's Prodder. Skarsnik's Prodder is a three-pronged spear, much like a trident, that the goblin warboss keeps near at all times. It glints with an eerie green radiance in the darkness, a grotesque mockery of the pale light it gave off as a rune staff. Its wickedly sharp blades are capable of piercing even the thick armor of the dwarfs. The Prodder's long, red-painted handle gives Skarsnik impressive reach in combat, letting him stay far away from the cutting blades and axes of his foes. Its use as a close combat weapon is perhaps its least impressive attribute, however. Dangling from the Prodder's prongs are a plethora of greenskin talismans, including those of the Bad Moon and Wicked Eye. These talismans let Skarsnik channel the Wah energy around him into devastating bursts of sickly green light. These explosions make Skarsnik a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield, as they are capable of destroying warp lightning cannons and even the most durable statues of Karak Eight Peaks. On tabletop, this was represented as a bound spell that became more powerful if night goblins were near Skarsnik, though the novels make it seem that any greenskins in a sufficient state of fury can heighten the Prodder's power. Interestingly, while a Prodder is definitely a weapon of war, it is also a tool of goblin life. Prodders are used to direct squigs and trolls, which is one of the reasons Skarsnik's Prodder is so large. He's a big boss with an even bigger squig, so it makes sense that his Prodder is the biggest of them all. In Total War Warhammer, Skarsnik's Prodder is a legendary magic weapon that only Skarsnik can equip. In battle, it grants him the use of a magic missile ability, usable twice in a battle with a 120-second cooldown. The missiles have a range of 200 meters and deal magical and fire damage. 100% of both its ranged and explosive damage is armor piercing, making it excellent against heavily armored factions like the Dwarfs or the Warriors of Chaos. It costs 200 gold in multiplayer and requires direct line of sight, however, so it is by no means a must take if you choose Skarsnik as your lord in a multiplayer battle. The Prodder's true worth is seen in a campaign, however. There, in addition to its magic missile ability, it grants Skarsnik a plus 6 bonus to melee attack, magical attacks, a plus 10% boost to weapon strength, and a plus 10% increase to post battle loot. Most critically of all, the Prodder gives his faction plus 3 public order across all provinces. For this reason alone, the Prodder would be worth picking up, as the number of rebellions this can prevent or delay over the course of a campaign can be hard to count. The quest battle to acquire the Prodder is fought against the Dwarfs, with the reasoning behind the battle being that Skarsnik needs to recharge it with Wah juice. It's not a terrible battle, but the presence of Iron Drakes and Miners with blasting charges in the enemy army means you'll need to do more than just rush your cheap goblins straight at the dwarf lines. Thank you to everyone who listened to the first video in what I'm hoping will become a recurring series on the channel, Artifacts of Legend. In it, I'll cover the various weapons, armors, and other magical items of the Warhammer world. Gotta mix up the content a little bit here and there to keep things fresh, huh? With that being said, I'd like to get a little bit of feedback on the video. Does learning about the magic items of Warhammer interest you? If not, do you guys have any other lore concepts you'd like me to cover? And if learning about these items does interest you, what kind of items would you like me to talk about next? Currently, I'm eyeing a certain throne with a certain angry short person in it for the next video, but I'm open to suggestions. Until next time, this has been Sigmar's Chosen, signing off for now.